people dream of coming to the United States to develop their careers, raise a family, buy a home, and live happily ever after. And for many, the employment-based immigration process just might be the best way to do that. In this video, I'm going to walk you through that process, starting from your initial entry into the United States all the way through to citizenship, and I'm going to do it in less than 5 minutes just to make it a little more fun. We'll start that 5 minutes right now. To make it easier to understand, I'm going to break it down into 4 major stages. Your visa application, your work status, your lawful permanent residency, also known as the green card, and finally citizenship. The first step is getting your US visa, and this is typically done in your home country at a US consular post. You'll need to complete an online form and find an available date and time for an in-person interview. Once you have that interview, hopefully you'll receive your visa. For many, their initial entry into the United States is as an F1 student to attend college or university. If your initial entry to the United States is with a work visa, then you're most likely going to need to have sponsorship by a US employer who will prepare and file all of the necessary paperwork with US Citizenship and Immigration Services, and then get an approval. Once you get that approval, you'll take that with you to your visa appointment. If you do enter the United States in F1 status as a student, then your first full-time work authorization will likely be based on an EAD or employment authorization document. When you're going to school, you can do part-time work, and then when you graduate, you can get up to 1 year of post-graduation work authorization. Now, if you have a degree in a STEM field, science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, you can potentially get an additional 2 years, so up to 3 full years post-graduation. If your entry into the United States is with a work visa, your status is going to be governed by what's called an I-94. This I-94 document will have an expiration date, which signifies how long you're able to remain and work in the United States. Every time you travel outside of the United States and then come back, you'll get a new I-94. And it's important to look that new I-94 up every time because sometimes the expiration can get cut short unexpectedly for one reason or another. And if that happens and you're not aware of it, you could be in trouble. Most statuses that allow for work authorization will tie you to a single employer, but that doesn't mean you're stuck with them forever. If you wish to change to a new company, you can do that. You just need to be sure the paperwork is filed ahead of the move and in some cases actually approved before you make the move. The good news is that you won't need to depart the United States while that process is ongoing. Because work statuses are considered a non-immigrant status, they are limited in duration. This means that people who want to stay in the United States on a long-term basis are going to need to go through the lawful permanent residency process. As I said before, this is often called the green card process. Now, most people going through the green card process will be sponsored by their employer. There are some self-sponsor options, but I'm not going to go through those at this time. I'm going to go through what the standard process is for the employer-sponsored green card process, and that is perm labor certification, I-140 immigrant petition, followed by I-485, which is the actual green card application. This is all typically done while you're in the United States working, although there is a consular processing option for the I-485 as well. Depending on your country of birth, this process can take anywhere from 2 to 15 years, and so it's important to maintain your work status as you go through the lawful permanent residency status in order to remain and work in the United States. After holding your green card for a number of years, typically 5, although it can be 3 if you marry a US citizen, you'll be eligible to apply for citizenship through a process called naturalization. The naturalization application process is typically fairly straightforward, although it can be affected by location and timing, especially if you travel outside the United States frequently, or if you have criminal history. Finally, once your naturalization application is approved, you'll take the oath of allegiance and you'll enjoy all the benefits of US citizenship, including the right to vote and all protections under US law. All right, how did we do? I think we did it in under 5 minutes. It was a lot to cover. I'm sure there are questions. I encourage you to reach out. I'm providing our contact information in the notes below. The US immigration process can be a long journey, but understanding everything that it entails can make it much smoother. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.